Good morning, this is Dominic with TheBackVlog. At my anime convention that I went to on the last day, we saw Otaku no Video in a screening room, so I got to see this in a theater setting, which was it's a very good way to experience this for the first time. I think the Blu-ray of this, on the front it says graffiti of Otaku generation. I think that's a very apt description for what this film ended up being. This was a early Gainax. I think this might have been their first OVA from, I think, 91. I love the retro anime style that it has. I just love retro anime in general. That's what I grew up with. Because like all the stuff that I grew up with was stuff from the 80s and 90s, because that's what my dad had lying around. You know, it was mostly just like Dragon Ball Z VHS tapes, but I also remember from the same anime convention 20 years before I went, he got this, and I don't even remember, I'm sure it was fan art, but there was this poster that he had of Shinji and Rei from Neon Genesis Evangelion. I don't know, they have like a different like clothing style. I think because I was exposed to that, and like with the Dragon Ball Z VHS tapes, I had like all the ads for a bunch of other stuff. I got this for Christmas last year, Yu Yu Hakusho. I've never seen it, and I'm really excited to watch it. That was like one of the shows that I always saw ads for on those Dragon Ball Z VHS tapes. You know, I didn't really grow up with the, mid 2000s and early 2010s anime, like Death Note or Full Metal Alchemist or Attack on Titan or something, stuff like that. So I don't really have any context as to that. I just love the old retro anime style. Being that Otaku no Video came out in 91, it takes place in 1982. Well, it starts in 1982. And, the bulk of it is in 1982. Because of that, it in itself is already kind of like a period piece. So it's talking about otaku culture from the early 80s, which was 10 years before the film came out. And I think it's really interesting to see what that culture was like compared to today, where you have you have garage kits, and you have the way that they independently produced anime back in the day with like VHS recording. And it shows like some insight into the early animation techniques with like cell animation. I thought that was really cool to see. And I think another thing that's really interesting to think about is its speculation on otaku culture in the West, because when this film came out, otaku culture was a very niche thing, not like it is nowadays, when there's 45,000 people at an otaku convention, and that's just one side of the country. I think, there's a lot of interesting ways that this film is thinking about the future of otaku culture. And I think that's really cool to see. It's very prophetic. I wasn't expecting the live action interviews. They kind of threw me off a bit, and I kind of had to reorient myself. Because that first one, I wasn't really sure what was going on, but as they kind of progressed, I guess some of the interviews were staged, but I really don't know which ones were staged and which ones weren't. I'm sure the one where they chased the dude down the street is probably staged. That one was pretty funny. But yeah, some of these things are really, really funny. The questions that the people are being asked are so admonishing and beating them down, and the way that they're responding is just so matter of fact. They're not even taking it as an insult. They're just taking it as at face value. You do see a wide array of otaku, different types of otaku in this film. Whether or not they're real that's a completely different conversation. But I thought that was really funny. I wasn't expecting from Otaku no Video going into it was that it was going to be kind of like a narrative comedy documentary about being an otaku in the 80s. But when I saw the I think in this screening room, they played the trailer for it. You know, I see people with like Godzilla statues and like bookshelves filled with manga, and I'm like, oh, and you know, like there's no like modern technology. There's no computers. There's no like flat screen TVs. There's no cell phones. It's a very underground thing. I'm like, oh, this is what I need. This is what I wish I was living in. And I don't know. I guess maybe I shouldn't say that because, you know, while everything sucks now, I'm sure a lot of things sucked back then too. A lot of things did suck back then. This shit is an aesthetic time capsule. The visuals in it, the lighting in it, the city design, the character design. If I was watching this alone, and I guess I'll talk about this experience in a little bit too. I feel like it'd be more appropriate for this video than the Otaku vlog video that should be coming up at some point soon. If I had watched this in a different setting, I probably would have had the same emotional reaction to it as I did the Flying Luna Clipper earlier this year, because, you know, that film was very silly, but I think just the hopeful rose-tinted glasses that film saw the future through. As for with this too, this film compared to, you know, what life is like now, it is really kind of depressing. Talking about the context in which I saw this, like I said, I saw it in a theater setting, and the guy that was putting it on, he was such a weirdo, man. I don't even know if I should put this in the video or not. Maybe I'll cut it out. I don't know, we'll see. But like, he was like dancing to the theme song, and towards the end, whenever like all the characters like do their pose before the film starts, he gets in front of the projector and poses with them, and I was like, oh my god, like I had like secondhand embarrassment. And there were points throughout the film where he would like go up to the front and like kind of like, you know, shout as if it was like a Rocky Horror Picture Show like shadow cast thing, and I'm like, dude, I'm trying to watch this. I don't know. He was a strange guy, and he kept looking back at the audience like to see if like they were gonna react to some of the jokes that I guess he thought were really funny. And I felt a little uncomfortable, if I'm being quite honest. But that does not change the quality of the film. And I do look forward to seeing this again. This was put out by Anime Ego, which is I guess a division of Media OCD, it says on the back here. I don't know if they have a professional relationship or if they're like the same company with a different name or something, like operating as two different names. I don't know if they're the same as Discotheque Media. I know a lot of the Discotheque releases you can also find on Media OCD. So maybe it's just kind of like a partnership or whatever. But yeah, I really like these releases, and I really like Discotheque releases. And, you know, I think where I'm at, and this is like, I'm going on a tangent now. This video is done. You can click off if you want. That was Otaku video, my discussion for Otaku video. It was really good, and I heavily recommend it. I'm pretty sure my Criterion collection is where I want it to be at this point. But yeah, now that the Criterion collection is right where I want it, I think it's time to start getting Discotheque / Anime Ego releases, and maybe I'll have a separate shelf for them like I do my Criterions. But in the meantime, they're on these shelves back here. So yeah, that's my spiel. I don't know if you stayed to listen to it. I don't know if you stayed to listen to me talk about that guy at Otaku who was screening this for people. That was very nice of him, but I wish he didn't get in front of the projector and interject throughout the film. The film was really good though.